from New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning. On Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning. Laura Styles, Rosenberg, my bro Boris Kojo.
Morning.
Ghana in the building. What's
That's
going
right.
on, man? So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the person who made it easy for me to go to Ghana for the first time.
That's
How
right.
so?
Because of the Full Circle Festival and the Full Circle family, which shout out to everybody who I'm sure is paying attention in our
That's right.
amazing WhatsApp chat. So how
Still
did it
going strong, by the way.
Yo, that WhatsApp chat is
Right?
strong. Sometimes
Yeah.
I go in there, there'll be 50 messages. I'll be
That's
like,
right.
all right, everybody, calm down.
right.
But it's beautiful because everybody's sharing and updating not only their reconnection with Africa, but how they're sharing with other people and what's going on.
It's huge.
How did it start and why?
It started myself, Bozoma St. John, my sister, and my wife. We were in Ghana, just the family. My father's from Ghana. So
And this is
I
2
spent a
years
lot-
ago.
That was 2 years ago.
7 people went.
7 people, exactly. Just our families, our kids. And the president of Ghana asked us if we would like to host an event to celebrate the year of return, commemoration of 400 years of the beginning of slavery.
Which is this year,
Which is
2019.
This year, 2019. And we said, okay, let's do it. So we put our heads together, and Nicole came up with the Full Circle Festival name because it represents us, going home, coming back to, like you said, reconnect with our ancestry and celebrate our common collective heritage. So last year, 120 people came, you included, and we sort of came up with this 7-day itinerary. Nightlife, culture, sites, slave castles, W.E.B. Du Bois Center, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, to give people a glimpse of what not just Ghana but Africa really is about. And because the vibrancy of the culture, the diversity, the human resources, the natural resources, the nightlife, the food, the music, there's so much that has been unknown to the Western world on
Right.
purpose.
Right.
So there's so many lies have been told about Africa. When we see Africa, we see famine, we see war, we see mass exodus to Europe. We don't see the true 360 degrees of what Africa really is. And we changed that last year. We really painted a new narrative about Africa. We really showed people, like I said, the vibrancy of the different cultures, the different languages, the people, the fun, the food, the parties, the nightlife, the history, the ancestry that's there, and why it's so important for us to reconnect with that.
You have a white mother
Yeah.
and a black father.
Yeah.
You were born in Europe.
Born in Vienna, Austria. Raised in Germany. My mom's German.
Your mom's German.
Yeah.
Your dad is Ghanaian.
Yeah.
But your mother made sure that you and your brother
Yeah.
went back to Ghana
Yeah.
damn near every year.
Absolutely. I don't know. You probably met her. She
I met your mother, yeah.
Yeah, she was with us. It was important for her to, even though my father wasn't in the house after age 5, it was important for her that she allows us to understand our culture, our paternal culture. And we have tons of family over there. My grandmother, she passed since, but we stayed with her, damn near every year. All of my cousins and aunts and uncles, and it was important for me. And I don't know if you experienced the same thing, but when I touch foot in Africa, the double consciousness goes out the window immediately, right? This feeling of being watched, judged, perceived a certain way that we all feel when we move around. Even in New York, when you go in a restaurant, when you go in a subway, you are so aware of how people perceive you the second you step into a room, right? What they might be thinking about you. And the danger is that you alter your behavior based on that perception from other people. And that happens subconsciously, right? And that's the danger of double consciousness, that you're not truly yourself anymore. And I think Jaydena, who was with us, put it perfectly when he said, when you go back to Africa, you experience the feeling of being able to be yourself, unapologetically yourself. which I think hits the nail on the head.
How did your kids react the first time you took them back? Because I think it's really interesting when I remember the first time I went back to Guatemala to truly understand where we came from. It completely changed my life forever.
Absolutely, and it also has to do with the fact that unless you know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. Right. My kids, it was amazing to watch them because they couldn't verbalize that feeling of losing the double consciousness. They couldn't verbalize it, but they felt it. So they were trying to put it into words what they felt and how exhilarated they were and how excited they were. And I mean, they ran. We had a pack of kids, like just running.
Yeah. Kids running around. They had all the kids in the pool, swimming,
it was amazing.
partying,
it was
kicking
absolutely
and dancing.
amazing. They had such a great time, and they didn't want to leave. They had like a meltdown when we had to leave because they didn't want to leave. So it's a really profound, transformational experience when you set foot in Africa the first time.
Now, you this year we're gonna go back again. Full Circle now has expanded, so keep this in mind.
Yeah.
It was 7 people. It was 120 people.
Yeah.
And I'm told this year we're in the 500 people.
Yeah.
That fast.
Yeah.
That are going back for the same period that I went last year.
Wow. This is January? When was it?
December 26th.
December 26th through January 3rd.
Yeah.
And see, I got to explain the mission behind this because it's a movement. Our Jewish friends, they have the birthright where everybody who turns 18 has the right to travel back to Israel and to reconnect with their ancestry. We never had that, right? Again, it was by design. We never had that. So now the whole purpose behind this is to give people who have a platform the opportunity to experience Africa authentically and personally. That's why we put this itinerary together. It's not just about popping bottles in Africa. It's about intentionality. It's about the purpose of reconnecting with your ancestry.
But we popped some bottles in Africa.
We did. Nightlife is crazy.
It doesn't preclude.
No, I just wanted to say we probably bottles are popping.
I mean, we had Idris spinning at one of the parties.
Yep.
I mean, it was everybody's there. It's intense, but so the goal is to continue Full Cycle Festival in Ghana, and then also invite people to go to the other 3 corners in Africa. Full Circle Ghana represents West. We're going to the southern part of Africa. We'll be going to the eastern part of Africa, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania. We'll be going to the north, Egypt, Morocco, to give people sort of a 360-degree experience what Africa is all about. So that's for the next 2 or 3 years. And then after that, we're going to open it up to the public where we say, okay, now everybody can have the Full Circle experience. Because I think it's so important, and we're talking about the African Summit that's taking place this week here in New York. It is so important for people to step foot in Africa, to ignite a newfound interest and excitement about Africa in order to then take step 2 and 3, which is investing in economic development. That comes after that, because I think the mistake that people have made in the past is that they thought, oh, we can build a bridge between the diaspora and Africa real quick, and then funnel a whole lot of money into Africa. It's going to go. No, it's not sustainable. What you have to do is to first ignite the interest. Let people see it. Let people feel it. You know, you're not going to buy a house without seeing it, right? You're not going to move into a crib without having set foot in it. You have to feel Africa. You have to feel, whether it's Ghana or Tanzania, Kenya, wherever you go, you have to feel it, you have to see it. And once you get there, once people use their platform to talk about it and to change the narrative about Africa, that's when we can start talking about economic development, whether it's manufacturing, natural resources. Africa has 37% of the world's natural resources. It's just that it's been exploited by Western civilization rather than us being able to take advantage of it and collectively using our assets to create, whether it's IP or assets or sustainable manufacturing, infrastructure, whatever it might be.
Now, what is the Ghana has always played a important role in Pan-Africanism, all the way back to independence with Kwame Nkrumah. And even had its periods of destabilization, you know, when there were factions that turned against Kwame Nkrumah that have now, people have tried to reconcile and deal with that past. What is it about the culture of Ghana and the history of Ghana that makes it this kind of a beacon for Pan-Africanism and black culture in the world?
Well, I think Kwame Nkrumah was the quasi-godfather of Pan-Africanism alongside Haile Selassie, who was the emperor of Ethiopia. They were thinking along the same in the same direction. I think what's important to note is that Kwame Nkrumah's dream of a united Africa has just now been realized with the African Free Trade Commission that was just headquartered in Ghana this year, which means that now all 56 countries are now united in terms of free trade interests.
And these agreements can happen without the approval of France, the Franco, whatever, and the Brits and the whole thing.
Which is the key.
Yeah.
Because before, especially little countries like Mali and former French colonies were locked into these predatory loans and deals where they didn't have the right to really decide what was best for them.
Is it true most of France's financial wealth right now is still built on
$500 billion a year
Wow.
from Africa?
from Africa?
Wow.
500. That's a lot of
And
money.
is it true that the deals are such that an African nation that has this deal with France cannot do business around the world with their natural resources without the first right of refusal with France?
First right of refusal is in
And they can
France's
still
hand.
tell them no.
They can still tell them no.
So if they've dug gold, coffee, cocoa,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
they go to France like, hey, you guys want this? And they say, nah. And they say, okay, we're going to sell it over here. France can still say, nah, you can't do that.
That's so insane.
And all those nations still run on the French franc, which is also hilarious because even France has
Goes
the
on the
euro.
euro.
Exactly.
So wait, they buy money from France with their own natural
So, yeah,
resources.
and if they don't
that's not
comply-
even worth anything in France.
Yep. And if they don't comply, the faucet's turned off immediately. And you gotta imagine it this way: these countries are small. They have so-called independence, but they're small, and they're really powerless. It's almost like saying, look, if Kentucky was a country, right, they would be bankrupt in 3 days. That's just how it is, right?
So it's basically sharecropping, the sharecropping plantation, post-plantation kind of
Exactly.
formula where it's
Exactly.
basically like, yeah, you
Colonialism
got
is
your own farm,
alive
but
and
you'll
well.
you'll never get out from under the thumb of the
Nope.
plantation
No.
owner.
That's why the African Free Trade Commission is so important to help these kind of nations to take part in free trade along other countries in Africa, and therefore collectively gain more power in terms of economic development, infrastructure, and so that all those contracts don't go out to the Chinese and other countries, institutions like World Bank coming in and cleaning up. So it's a very, very important move, a first step in the right direction.
And has there been any pushback, blowback from as this thing? Because it feels like it wasn't 30 days that we got home and the United States had turned off visas in Ghana because of some issue they had. And, the president of Ghana was like, you can't build your military base here. And there's been like this whole kind of a little bit of static, a little bit of dust up.
Yeah, well, I think it's important that we get to a place where the visa process is simplified to a point where people can travel back and forth as much as they want. We have
now,
400.
His Excellency went to Jamaica, and Jamaicans and Ghanaians could travel back and forth. They probably went all through the Caribbean. Yeah.
Yes, went all through the Caribbean, and he's working on it. I mean, you've met him. He's just a very progressive, innovative, smart guy who is not afraid to rattle the cage, and he's been doing that. And that's why we got involved as well, because I wasn't always a fan of heads of states over there until he showed up, and I met him, and he really is a guy who understands and not just the economic needs, but also in order to achieve all these goals that we have, there has to be African unity. socially, politically, educationally. And he is somebody who understands that, and he's somebody who leads the pack. He really knows how to communicate with other African leaders and get them on the same, get them to work for the same things.
You're German. It says here in my notes that on April 22nd of 2019, in a BET article, you broke down why the Trump administration is like Nazi Germany.
I did? I don't remember that.
That's what it says here.
When? What? Really?
Yeah.
No, I might have drawn some analogies, but I don't think I ever said that. But I think today's political climate is absolutely dangerous. I totally agree with that, because there's certain similarities that come to mind that strike me as very dangerous. I mean, first of all, starting with divisiveness and separating people, and this is a whole can of worms that if we're gonna open this up, it might be here for another week. But yeah, I don't agree with a lot that's going on right now. But again, I always like to say that when we put our heads together collectively and start trying to remember what we agreed on, once we have that as a base, we can move forward from there. I think that's very important right now.
Now, it's interesting that you guys saw Boris right there try to navigate that, and which is treacherous waters. I, for years, have tried to figure out what Boris's flaws are. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He's never had a drink. He's just smoking his life, right? He's seen by women as the preeminent black excellence.
Just by women.
And men. Men really find you attractive.
I mean, listen, we're not going to sit here and say that men like you as much as women do. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, sure, some do, but
Men probably hate your guts. Let's keep it on it.
we've had enough.
Where are you going?
My point is that I think this guy might be like a politician one day. I think this guy might end up in politics.
Oh boy.
Does it interest you at all?
Look, I like to stay in my lane. I wouldn't jump into something without adequate preparation. I don't like when people misuse their platform. I don't like when people talk about stuff they have no idea about. So I'm in the past 10 years, I've started to get more involved and interested and educate myself more about generations before me that talked about Pan-Africanism, because that's where my heart is at, right? My heart is in my service to others in terms of creating a way for the African diaspora to reconnect, because I realize that a lot of issues that we're having here in the States as African Americans, even though I'm not, I live an African American life here. A lot of the issues that we're dealing with stem from not being connected to our ancestry and not having a connection to our heritage, basically not knowing where we came from. And that creates a lot of problems. I think I talked to you about this. What comes to mind is an abandoned child, right? A child without a home, without people that the child is connected to. If you don't know where you came from, you have a sense of you're feeling lost. You have no connection to
Abandonment.
Abandonment is deep, and I think we feel that as a culture. And
it manifests itself too. You'll hear black people
Every day.
like Africans don't like us. Like there's just like, yo, I heard that Africans don't even like black people.
Yeah.
You'd
We
be
don't
like,
belong here. We don't belong there. We always feel a stranger, even like a stranger in our own land, even. So that's the root of my passion, because I want people to be able to maximize their potential. I want people to be able to feel like they're whole, like they can appreciate their worth and their value. They have pride, they have courage, they have a sense of confidence in who they are, and that all comes from our heritage. That all comes from where we came from. And if we don't know that, how are we gonna? Are we manufacturing it? You know, and it's like what you said when you went back to Guatemala. It's the same thing. It's reconnecting with who you really are. It's like a tree without roots. It's very, very important.
So you're less concerned with American politics and more concerned with the plight and situation of African Americans and how to
and the whole diaspora.
Well, I think it goes together because look, American history is connected with African history, right? So you can't really talk about one without the other. But I don't think we have an adequate standing here until we figure out our past, and only then can we stand here and say, okay, I'm not from South Carolina. My ancestors are actually from Nigeria or Cameroon or Chad or wherever they came from. And now I have a true foundation in who I am, and now I can speak on issues that concern me here. But before we do that, I think there's always a sense of I'm not truly 100% belonging, not truly 100% having a voice. And I think that sort of feeling of being lost in the shuffle sometimes I think stems from that.
Now, what is this here? Nicole and OJ. He will play O.J. Simpson in the 2020 movie Nicole and O.J.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Not happening.
No,
you were like, not for me.
When production companies just come out with something because
really you didn't think
happening.
playing OJ that wasn't a brand.
Sorry?
You didn't think playing OJ was the brand move for you, or
No, I'm just saying it's just
not a real
happening.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
And then what about Station 19?
Station 19 is we're shooting it right now. It's the Grey's Anatomy spinoff. It's happening on ABC. The next
you got
season
a jobby
starts.
job. This is
Oh yeah,
this-
oh yeah. I'm shooting till March. This is Shondaland.
Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah, it's great. Shonda, she's a trailblazer. She's changed the way we watch TV. So being a part of that is great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a great show. Krista Vernoff took over. She was the showrunner at Grey's Anatomy. She runs both shows now. Stakes are high. Great stories. We got a great cast. Jane Lee Ortiz, she's awesome, and Jason George and everybody else on that show. It's like a family. Every time you step into a new role, whether it's a movie or a TV show, it's like becoming a part of a new family. And
what are you playing on Station 19? Are you a doctor?
I'm Captain Sullivan. It's a firehouse.
Of course you're a captain.
I'm the captain. I've got to be the captain.
Of course you are.
So Captain Sullivan, uniform and all that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah,
Fireman.
the fireman stuff with the suspenders and the hoses.
No shirt
You're like
on.
Boris.
No shirt on.
By the way,
Fireman.
You know how,
sweating.
you know how we make fun of Halloween? You know how you make fun of Halloween? It's like, I'm not a nurse, I'm a slutty nurse. Boris playing a firefighter. It's
That's
like,
it.
he's not a firefighter, it's a sexy
It's the male.
firefighter.
It's a slutty male version of the.
He's a slutty
of the-
firefighter.
Yo, how much you got this shirt off, my
That's
G?
it.
Keep it
All
on
the
it.
time. A lot of nudity. A lot of tasteful nudity because it's ABC.
Yo,
Yeah, no, but it's fun. It's a good show. Great cast, and it premieres again in January.
and then before we let you out of here, I just want to say thank you, man, for letting me be a part of the Full Circle thing. And Bozma, which we've known for over a decade, just the whole thing was so fulfilling, so fun.
I appreciate you because
Yeah.
we need people like yourself. We need people who speak up, who speak the truth, and who understand some of these connectivities that are important. And that's part of it. So we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna do this every year, and we're gonna get as many. I want to get millions and millions of people over there.
Yo, they listen to Hot 97 in Ghana. I don't know if y'all know that. What was the name of the market we went to when shopping?
Of course.
What's
Absolutely.
that market?
Makola Market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hot
Walked
over
in.
there.
Yo, Ebro, what's going on?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, for real.
That's
It's
interesting.
Real. Yeah.
We're lit.
People watching the YouTube videos.
Watch
and
the
stuff.
YouTube heavy.
Oh, we got to talk about the app too. Remember?
Well, CoFit.
Yeah.
What
That's deep.
is this?
No, we're talking about. I find fulfillment and service to others. People always talk about happiness. Happiness it transcends. It changes. It takes on different shapes and forms depending on the period of your life.
See how
right?
disgusting he is? He's like poetry, good looking.
It's the
and
truth.
In shape, and he doesn't drink, and he's talking about the connectivity of love. And
Well, but he knows happiness is fleeting. Things always change.
There you go. It's true. It's like when talking about love, same thing. But fulfillment is something that stays in your heart, right? And so I like to share things with people. I'm not a lyricist. I don't have songs to share with people, but I share my truth in terms of how I live my life, right? And when people ask me about health and fitness, Nicole and I had some challenges with our daughter, Sophie, who you met, who's amazing. She was born with spina bifida. So we were acutely aware of the importance of food and fitness. Health and wellness is very important. And we live in a world right now where a lot of people, they have 3 jobs, they have a lot of kids, they don't have time, and they don't have money for the gym. So we developed this app called CoFit with my brother, who's a certified trainer and nutritionist, who you know as well, Pat.
Another
Shout out to Pat.
giant, light skin, shirt off, diesel. It's ridiculous, man.
So my
He
brother,
looks like Boris Coach's brother.
Yeah, he looks like Boris Coach.
So my brother and myself, we developed the CoFit app in order to help families introduce some healthy habits in their lives, right? All of our workouts are 20 minutes or less. You don't need any equipment. All you need is a little space in your house. We also demystify nutrition. We don't believe in rigorous diets because they're not sustainable. We believe in moderation. We don't believe in giving up foods you love, right? I like ice cream. I'm not going to give up ice cream. It's not realistic for me to give up ice cream. So we give simple and effective tips that worked for us as a family to help people introduce some positive patterns, right? Because as a society, we're terrible. You got to it's the truth. We're really doing terrible. It's the first generation ever in history that has a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
I read that.
Based on
That's crazy, right?
Based on,
I mean,
It makes sense.
Yes.
But you could argue, I mean, it's the beginning of the end. I mean, it's a disaster to start going that direction. You can't start going that way.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, a lot of these things are preventable, right? A lot of heart disease and certain types of diabetes are preventable. So we're trying to teach people simple and effective tips on how to change your life 5 minutes at a time. We did the 30-day roll out of bed challenge, which was crazy. We got thousands and thousands of people from all over the world signing up for this challenge, where every day we spend 5 minutes together, just 5 minutes working out. Because what it does is, besides the fact that it boosts your metabolism and it helps you burn calories after the fact, it also gives you a sense of accomplishment, right? You did something today. And that goes beyond fitness. That bleeds over into your everyday life.
Too, yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can't separate the two.
Yeah.
Or the three,
The accomplishment is a big deal.
Yeah, mind, body, spirit. It goes together. So if one is lacking, you can never maximize your full potential. So the CoFit app is available everywhere. Go download it right now. There's a 7-day free trial period. You can check it out. And then it rolls over into a $9.99 per month membership, which is less than a big bucket of popcorn or a glass of wine. So I know you guys out there, your health is worth more than $10 a month.
Yeah. And also, too, building community, too, right? Like-minded individuals doing the
Huge.
same things, people to communicate with.
Huge.
A lot of people
Family.
feel alone, family.
We
all
have people send us comments, man. We had this woman who told us that she hadn't been in contact with her son for 2 years because he hated the way she treated herself. And now she does the CoFit app every day with him, with the son. Comes to the house. We had somebody telling us that she was contemplating suicide. It gives you a sense of accomplishment every day. It boosts your morale. It boosts your hormones, right? Dopamine. It makes you feel better, healthier, fitter, stronger you.
Is your picture on the app when people click on it?
Naked.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. CoFit.
With the
Get it.
fireman on.
People going to pay $999 for that. Yo, Boris Kojo, I love you, man.
Love you too,
Yo,
brother.
shout out
Thank
to the
you.
Full Circle family. Hopefully, we're going to see everybody out there in Ghana.
Absolutely.
Too, man, for sure.
Yeah.